Wow. Okay. Okay, Lawlers, welcome back to another beginner champ guide. Today we've got Brand. Whoa, what kind of buy is that? Today we've got Brand in the mid lane. We're going to pick up some starting items here. We're just going to start with the Doran's Ring, a couple potions, and the Warding Totem. So Brand's this really cool champion. He can be flexed between the mid lane or the support. Basically a big bursty AP mage that can do good area of effect damage. So he excels really well in team fight situations and obviously in the support role when there's 2v2 or kind of mid-sized skirmishes. So we'll run through his passive here to start off with, which is Blaze. So all of Brand's spells light his targets ablaze, dealing up a small percentage of their max health over a few seconds. That's pretty much all you need to know. When it reaches max stacks, it deals even more damage kind of thing, but basically your spells light people on fire, they take damage. The first ability we're going to learn is Pillar of Flame, his W. So basically he casts it and there's going to be a circle on the ground. This massive Pillar of Flame lights up that area, dealing a bunch of magic damage. So we're going to max this ability first in terms of maxing our basic abilities because it's your bread and butter wave clear and damage. So we're going to try and land it on her here. You can see it's got a little bit of a short delay, so it's a little bit tough to land, especially if the enemy champ's good at dodging skill shots. So this is probably the hardest part of Brand's kit, landing this W. Alright, we'll try it again here. Right? Just land it and you kind of poke them and you can see she's kind of on fire there, taking a little bit more damage. You got to remember when you're playing Brand, he's not the tankiest champ, so when you walk up to land your W, you have to also be good yourself at dodging skill shots, okay? So the best way to do it is try and maybe catch them just on the edge if you can, and poke them out over time. Now things get interesting when you get to level 3, but right now level 2 we're going to pick up our Q, which is Sear. He basically shoots a fireball out in the line, so another skill shot, and if you hit someone who's ablaze, it stuns them. Okay, so if we hit her, we missed the Q. If you light somebody on fire and you hit them with the Q, you're going to stun them, basically. So that's really good for stopping ganks or locking someone down later on. We just missed her again. Locking someone later on for a team fight or a skirmish, right? A priority target or even a frontliner if you wanted to. Okay. So when we pick up level 3 here, we're going to talk about what you can do in terms of a little bit of a mini combo against a champion or also a wave clear tactic. Okay, so level 3 here, your E is basically lights people up for more damage if they're already on fire from something, right? From one of the other spells, if they're already ablaze. So this affects all units in an area that have been lit on fire by Brand. Okay, so let's just test that out here. So you W, and then you E, see how it's spread to all those other minions. So your E is really good at wave clearing in conjunction with your W. If you W some minions and you press E on them, especially once you get a few items, you should be able to clear out waves pretty quick. So let's try a little mini combo here. E is the only ability out of your basic abilities that isn't a skill shot. So what you want to try and do is, if there's no minions in between you and the enemy champ and you have a good chance, you want to E them, stun them with your Q, and then land your W after you've already stunned them, right? Because it's very easy to miss your W due to the delay, but if you stun them, then you can just drop W on them for free. So now we're going to try and W a bunch of these minions out here. So you want to try and land your W on as many as possible. Use E, kind of deal a little bit more damage to all of them, and then just clear them out with a few last hits. So again, that short delay, right? You got to be, you're going to have to play him a few times to just learn that delay, but it's pretty powerful. Brand deals a lot of damage. So again, we're going to W the back line here, E them, hit them a few more times, clear them out, push this wave in, right? You always want to push before you recall, and then we're going to go back and buy and build a little bit more AP here and get pretty dangerous. In terms of runes, we're just running some basic mage runes here. I've got the Arcane Comet with the Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, and Gathering Storm. That's just really good on any type of a mage in the mid lane. And then in terms of our secondary runes, we're running the Precision Tree for Presence of Mind, so we get a bunch more mana. Brand is very mana hungry, especially if you're spamming his spells. They're all pretty expensive. And then the Coup de Grace, just to make sure that if we get someone low with our fire damage, it kind of helps finish them off. Okay, we didn't want to buy that. Alright, so in terms of spells here, or items in the mid lane, I mean, you could go bursty with Luden's Echo, you could go a little bit tankier with Leandri's Torment. Generally, I like to go a little bit tankier just to start off with, so that I have a little bit of survivability. Also, because Brand doesn't really have any escapes, if you do get ganked, having a little bit more survivability while you try and run back to your tower with your tail between your legs is helpful in some situations. So I'd build that item first and then maybe get a bit more bursty with other items. But we're going to run to lane here, and just following our basic laning with Brand, we want to W the enemy champion plus minions if we can, right? If we can get a Q on her, great. If we can't, we're just going to use our W to poke. That's basically how your laning goes. If they give you the EQW combo, which, like, you light them up with your E, which isn't a skill shot, you Q them to stun them, and then you land your W, that's going to be big damage. Like, you might even kill somebody off that. If they don't let you do that, then you're just going to look to W either minions or them to get poke off. Okay, so here she's going to give you the combo here, so EQW, and you just walk away. There's nothing else for you to do after you land that combo. Okay, don't hang out and take more damage for no reason. You get the EQW combo off, take it, and walk away. Okay, so that's the two different ways you can lane with Brand in terms of combos and trading and last hitting. Now let's talk about his R. So I'm just going to walk back here for a second while we take a look at this ability. So Pyroclasm, basically, Brand unleashes a devastating torrent of fire, dealing a bunch of AP magic damage each time it bounces up to 5 bounces. So bounces prioritize stacking Blaze to max on champions. So what this means basically is you can cast it on an enemy, I believe it's even an enemy unit, and it's going to bounce, but prioritizing champions up to 5 times. So this is an amazing ability for team fights. Okay, it deals huge damage. You can really like have a massive turning of the tide as a champion team fights from the AoE from this ability. Okay, so we're going to push this wave out. Alright, and we're just going to Q that to get that. And Brand is very powerful if you can push the wave, okay? Because then you can really harass them under turn. So I'd recommend, if you want to be really aggressive on Brand and have a chance to really carry games, you're going to get ganked a lot, but what you can try and do is W and E the waves in really fast, especially when you get some mana like this, and then look to harass the champ under tower, okay? And what I mean by harass is you can just cast W's out here and keep them off of farming, or just damage them, right? So there I'm even throwing Qs just to keep her off and damage her. She's going to have to recall now and miss a bunch of this farm, and I can get more gold off the plates. So really, really powerful way to play Brand. Push in fast with your W and your E, right? Keep pushing in those waves. You can see the E hits all the backline minions if I hit them with my W, and then take plates or poke, okay? Brand is a very poke-heavy champion still at the end of the day. Even though the poke can be AoE, you still want to make sure you're poking, okay? So we're going to get some plates here. We don't really have enough gold to back, and we're still full health and mana. So if you're in this position in your games, I'd recommend hanging out for a little bit longer and either fast pushing in another wave or looking to kill the enemy champion. Okay, so here again, you want to hit as many minions as you can with your W, so your E can hit as many minions as possible after that. We're going to walk away, and then we're going to get a combo up on her here. So we're going to E, Q, W, and this time we'll follow it up with our R, just for a little bit more damage, and kill her. So if you land 3 abilities on a champion, you're going to see this ring show up around them. That's basically even more burn damage coming from your passive. So that would be ideal if you can kind of pin together 3 spells on someone. So she's gone. There's a little bit more waves to push in here. I don't really have as much gold as I could to pick up a full item, which is what I want to try and do. So I'm going to push this here. And again, I'm pretty confident that even when she comes back to lane with my current health and mana, we'll be able to fight her again. So no reason to back quite yet. I'm going to pop a potion just to get a little bit more health going, but I think after I fast push this wave in, we should be good to go. So you want to land your W on as many people as possible. E them as well. If she gives us a Q, we'll take it. That minion just got in the way there, so we're going to have to back off a little bit. But if she follows, we can just follow up with another W. You can see the damage it's dealing now. It's pretty good chunks. And now we can harass her into turret again, just like we were talking about before. So EQ, stunner, one more W for the win. There you go. Easy. Okay, so if you get ahead on Brand, or you get, used to landing your W and your EQ when the you know, the situation presents itself, you'll do huge amounts of damage with Brand. He's actually very, very powerful in that way, and in lower elo games where a lot of teams like to group up, he's actually really easy to play into team fights, because you can basically just stand back and press W or R on champions or minions in that case, and deal damage. You can get your damage out, right? Some champions you might die before you even get your damage out, and it's hard to like get the damage charts high in your games and have an impact. Brand, it's very easy to have an impact on the game no matter what. Even if you're behind, if you're ahead, if you're into a hard matchup, it doesn't matter, because essentially the games will deteriorate to probably people just grouping mid and trying to push as 5 or 4 or whatever it is. So you can just stand back, press W, clear waves, hit champs, right? So we're going to do our combo to her again here if there's no minion in front, which is E, Q to stun, and then the W after that. So we'll just clear out some waves here. She's not going to give it to us right now, so what do we do if you can't get it? You're going to use your W to push waves. Okay, push waves so you can get your EQ combo off on her while she's trying to last hit and pushed under her tower. So here we go, E, Q, W. You can see that ring around her because we landed 3 spells. You can use your ignite if you need to get a kill like that. So that's basic combo with Brand. I wouldn't recommend roaming too much with this champion, even if you are getting your waves pushed in. He's just very tough in terms of if you're playing against junglers who can assassinate you or get the jump on you or have some hard CC on you. He's not great at that. So I would just be careful of not pushing too aggressively and then looking to roam. That's not your play, right? Push if you want, get some wards down, but really you want to try and get as big as possible, get as much gold as you can from these plates, or going back and buying with the minion gold or champ gold from farming kills, and then have an impact later on in team fights. Don't set yourself back by roaming, right? So here we go, right? We could have ulted there. We'll do one ult. Oh, did the fire damage get her? It did, right? So that's all. You stay in the mid lane, stay safe, put your wards down, farm champions, farm minions, get that plate gold, and when you have enough gold and items and damage and the game deteriorates to just everybody grouping mid, you're going to have a huge factor. I'm sure everybody's probably already played against a Brand on the enemy team where it's like, what the heck, this guy's just killing everybody at once. Okay, so we're going to go back and buy our item. We'll do a couple more combos just so everybody understands the basic pattern here that you should be looking for. And I think we might wrap this one up. It's not that hard to play Brand once you get the hang of it. It's pretty easy. You'd be looking to build out these 3 essential items in whatever order you feel. I probably, again, pick up the Landria's Torment first. It makes you a little bit beefier, and then, you know, the percentage damage that it deals with its passive plays well into your fire passive as well.
Like wildfire.
And we'll run back out to lane here and kill her one more time. So this time actually we'll wait 30 seconds and just use the ult on the minions so you can see how your ult bounces off minions and also bounces to the champion. The worst way you could use the ult is what we did unfortunately in the last engagement just to get that kill, is just on a solo champion without even any minions around. So we'll clear this wave out, right? W to clear waves out. And then if she steps up, we'll use our R just to show as an example here how it bounces off things, right? So we'll wait for a big minion wave to show up here, and then we're going to bounce our R off a minion to start, to her, off more minions, and back to her, okay? Just to show it. This wouldn't be exactly how you'd want to use it in lane, it's just so you guys get an understanding of how you can bounce your R off things. So here, look. So you're going to press R, it's going to bounce, see, bounce the minions, bounces back to her, right? So that's how you'd want to use it if there's other champions. You can see just from 2 or 3 bounces to her, it dealt half of her health. Again, not the way you'd want to use it, just in lane like that, but you can see you don't even have to press R on a champion. If there's like 2 or 3 champs in a minion wave, you could just trigger your ult off of a minion that you can get to and stay very safe. EQW again. Get that combo off at pretty far range and just get a kill. So guys, that's it for Brand. He's not too crazy. Final words of advice again, don't go looking for roams in the unwarded jungle in the fog of war. It's not going to end well for you in the long term. You're just going to set yourself back and miss farm and experience in the mid lane. If you have any questions about playing Brand, feel free to drop me a comment on the video. If you enjoyed the content, drop a like. If you didn't, drop a dislike and let me know what you want to see in the next one.